Thank you so very much for being here. If you just joined us or you're still with us, it's still Enterprise Morning, reaching you from Enterprise Television. Let's get to our main conversation for today. There was chaos at the Lagos State House of Assembly when officers of the Department of State Services (DSS) stormed the building and took over the chambers, stopping lawmakers from entering. The lawmakers, refusing to be shut out, forced their way inside. Honorable Kehinde Joseph called the invasion an attack on democracy, saying he never expected to see armed security officers inside the chamber. Honorable Adewale Temitope said this day would never be forgotten in Lagos politics. While Honorable Tobin Abiodun said lawmakers were elected by the people and should be allowed to work, not threatened with guns. He said anyone with a complaint should go to the court instead of using force. Honorable Larry Afini recalled how he and some colleagues were arrested by the DSS for no clear reason. He equally said the invasion was another step backwards for democracy. Honorable Boloha said an attack on the assembly was an attack on democracy itself. He reminded everyone that many people fought for freedom and this action disrespects the struggle. Also, Oluwa said he was still in shock, calling the DSS actions unprofessional. He said lawmakers have the right to make decisions for the people and security forces should not interfere. Despite the chaos, the lawmakers stood together, passing a vote of confidence for Speaker Mojishola Lasbat Merinda. Staff members cheered in support, but the message was clear. Democracy in Lagos was under a threat. We have to have this discussion, of course, today. We have Lexter Wilkers. He is a chartered accountant and public affairs analyst. Thank you so very much, sir, for being here.
Thanks for having me. It's my pleasure.
Beautiful. You equally have Innocent Aduluba right here with us in the studios. Thank you so very much.
It's my pleasure to
Beautiful.
be here.
All right, so I'd love to start with you, Mr. Wilkers. What's your take on what is happening in the Lagos State House of Assembly?
Well, obviously, the peace and tranquility that Lagos State politics has enjoyed over the years, I'm talking about 25 years and counting, seems to have been thwarted, disrupted by recent events in the legislature of Lagos State. We know how Lagos State House of Assembly has been a very, very, what I would call tranquil house, very peaceful, because there is a structure in Lagos. And before anybody emerges, it goes through that screening processes and the leadership recruitment process, that it enjoys the support of the powers that be, and everybody is on one page for every of the speakers. In fact, I'm talking about anything you want to do in Lagos, be it commissioner or anything. There is a structure which everybody follows. Now, it's rather sad that this coming at this time when the architect of the structure, being the President Bola Tinubu, is the president of Nigeria. Is it that he has distanced himself from the local politics and now considered Abuja politics that is now giving rise to the base to have an upheaval, because it is unheard of. It's expected that when Modashiro Basa was impeached, it's expected that there will have been, that impeachment will have come after due consultation with all the powers that be. And it will have been done not just by the whims and caprices of the legislatures or even the governor himself, but it will have enjoyed the support of the base, which is the GSC, and of course, the nod of the President Bola Tinubu. But a recent event is showing to the contrary. Or is it that some people are flexing muscle where they don't have? Now, inviting the DSS is an organization that cannot be deployed except there is an order from the high command. Now, who does the DSS report to? It reports to the president. So for DSS to be deployed into Lagos House Assembly means that order will have come from the high command. And where is the high command? Abuja. And who does it report to? The president. So it is now beginning to be clear as to the fact that maybe Mudashiru's Obasa's impeachment do not have the support of every of the parties that are supposed to give the nod, especially the president, because there's no way the DSS will have been deployed without approval from the Director General, and of course with the taxi support of the president. So it is now becoming to show that all is not well in Lagos politics, and the days ahead will be very interesting But for me, it's sad because the peace and tranquility enjoyed in Lagos, especially the governance structure, with respect to the executive-legislative relationship, seems to be on the chopping board. And if care is not taken, there may be Lagos might have a different direction come 2027.
Very well. Innocent Aduluba, Lagos might have a different dimension, just like Mr. Alexa Wilkers did say. Is the chicken coming home to roost at this point? Because no one would have ever expected, of all states, not Lagos, obviously.
I think Alistair has done a very clear dissection historically of Lagos, which seemed to be the epitome, the pace setter, the template for democracy as regards how houses of assembly are run in the country. He told us that over 25 years, taking, say, from 1999. What I see in Lagos before, and like he said, there are structures within the party where, following due consultations, tranquil has existed. When His Excellency the President, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, was governor, we could see that not all his deputies followed him to tenure, so to speak. Femi Pedro, Bokno Akerele, when it was the turn of Fashola, Ambode, and then we are here. I think it's just with Governor Sanwo-Olu that the deputy is coasting that smooth, if I should say. We've not seen that tussle anywhere near the speakership. And that's why I'm thinking, like he had told us, Alistair, that the DSS cannot be anywhere on their own. Somebody gives them a directive, a command from above. That's above we will put in quote. And that's why I think if we are claiming democracy, I like people to see what democracy is. Democracy has two legs: representation and participation. You and I participated in an electoral process to choose to elect representatives into offices. All these representatives at the state level includes our darling Obasa in the eye of the storm, where you can trace some of these crises to. And so where I'm headed for is, with regards to representation, the House of Assembly members should be telling their representatives, those they represent, their constituents, what the situation is. It's not something you keep mum. And at this stage too, Mr. Adeola Oluwatosin Ajayi, MON, who was appointed by President Tinubu on the 28th of August 2024 as the new Director General of the Department of State Services, DSS, should also be speaking. He should speak. This is his house attacking a democratic setting. Possibly, when he speaks, certain things will be clear. If you look at the tabloid, it's awash with different headlines, some toning down, some, and you know, when the gloves are off, the punches are painful. Some of them have the headline naked. If you look at Guardian this day, but if you look at Tribune and The Nation, which of course you can imagine their alignment. It's muffled, but of course the story is clear.
The story still remains the same.
Offices are sealed off. There are guns everywhere, and that tranquil, I'm using his word, is absent, has taken flight. Maybe Alistair will give us a second comment on that, where I'm leaving it off at this point.
All right, be beautiful. Mr. Alexa, you talked about the fact that the DSS, of course, are responsible for some of these things, and it's possible that others might have, of course, scaled down from the very top. But we have a letter as sent by the DSS, and it read, "Urgent enhanced security measures for Lagos State House of Assembly premises." And what they have stated in this letter is that they were called upon by the clerk. He has a signature here, and the clerk is Mr. ATB Otu, acting clerk of the House. Directed them they should come and safeguard the House of Assembly because of a possible infusion of Obasan's men to come cause chaos in the assembly. But of course, we saw the results. It wasn't like they were coming there to protect the members. They came there for something else. So that conflicting issue, do you think we should believe that?
Well, in Nigeria today, there are so many things you don't have to believe. There are so many damn things you don't have to believe. And if that letter is meant to go by, it might be, I'm not saying it is, it might be a letter that is written out of Durex. If anybody should want to write to the DSS to come and maintain security, is it the Speaker? The Speaker is the head of the legislature. And the Speaker is the one that should communicate officially to other heads of agencies. If there should be a police request, it is the Speaker that should do that, not the clerk. The clerk is a civil servant. The clerk runs the bureaucracy of the assembly, while the Speaker runs the political structure and both the bureaucracy and the political of the assembly. So if there is a process, the Speaker will have to consult with the clerk, and the letter will be signed by the Speaker, not the clerk. So that letter might be a afterthought of what comes out, and it might be something out of Durex. Now that's one. The second aspect, if you are called somebody to come and maintain law and order, we know how law and order is maintained. Now you man the gates, not the chamber. That chamber is hallowed. That chamber, anything is done in that chamber is covered by immunity. You can stay in that chamber and say all kinds. The only punishment you can get from the chamber is from your colleagues. Maybe you breach any rule or any order. You can't somebody inside the chamber. You cannot stop a duly elected member from a constituency from entering that chamber except his or suspension from his colleagues based on infringement of any of their rules. Only the members can discipline their members inside the chamber. So for the DSS to be deployed inside the chamber or restricting legislators from accessing the chamber is not maintaining peace. I mean, we must be clear about this. It's not maintaining peace. There is a whole lot of things going on, and unfortunately, the news that comes out from the GSC is not palatable, and that's why I am surprised. I'm wondering, and if maybe the President, His Excellency, since he's no longer a Lagos boy, since he's no longer on ground in Lagos, I'm sure this is why he didn't go for a Senate. You know, he wanted to go to Senate in 2007, and he maybe realized that if you're in Abuja, you will lose your foothold in the state. So he remained, and then he has been able to manage Lagos with the structure of Lagos. Maybe now that he's in Abuja, he's not seen the every ball in Lagos, and so some people are also trying to see how they can corner things out of him from Lagos. But he's a good strategist, he's a good team player, depending on where he belongs. President Bola Tinubu knows how to. He's a good political gambler. He knows when to withhold his carry and he knows when to drop them. He knows when to say, okay, fine, I concede defeat in this angle. He goes back to re-strategize. So perhaps this whole mess that's happening in Lagos Assembly, maybe he doesn't enjoy his blessing initially. Maybe there is some things that were not properly, some T's and I's that were not properly crossed and dotted before this whole thing took place. He's a good strategist and he knows how to re-engineer processes. But as far as the DSS comes into that chamber, I think there is more to it than meets the eyes. It's not just the clerk sending to come and maintain security. Is that something more sinister is happening on the ground? And DSS, like I said, cannot deploy except into such a place, except the DG will have given that order, will have given that approval, and of course with a clearance from either the NSA or directly from the presidency, whichever. There's no way DSS can be deployed into Lagos. I mean, police maintain security, not DSS. Into Lagos State Assembly. There is more to it than meets the eyes.
Very true. Innocent, something more sinister. This is becoming more interesting, and it's bringing my mind back to the saga, the fracas that happened, of course, still happening in Rivers State, right, between the Godfather and Nyesom Wike and Seminalaye Fubara. Are we seeing a repeat of the same thing in Lagos State? And most interesting is the fact that both godfathers are residing in Abuja, holding very symbolic positions. So are we saying that, just like Alester did say, yes, some wicked live in River State, and it's beginning to look like his ground base is beginning to etch out. And Bola Ahmed Tinubu, of course, will live in Lagos, and it's beginning to look like everything is drying up. Are we seeing a repeat of the same scenario?
Familiar strangers, familiar strangers. But they're not entirely the same. In the case of Rivers, it's a clear ego battle between two recognized personalities. Nyesom Wike has not denied he is at war with Siminalayi Fubara, and Siminalayi, the governor, has not denied that he seeks to establish that he is the constitutional, territorial, elected head of that portion, River State. In the case of Lagos, it's a constitutional process. Alistin has told us where the clerk heads the bureaucracy, and then the House functions as one of the arms of our democracy, talking about legislature at the concurrent level, talk at state-wise. I think we should look at Lagos uniquely. 13th January 2025, the date we had that coup of Obasan's ouster, the man that looked immortal, becoming weakened.
You call that a coup? Why would you call that a coup?
You can see it's a quote. That's what the media reports.
Okay.
Obasa, I wouldn't say holiday.
Big, because he was taken out through due process.
No,
every member that voted for him to get ousted, of course, did what they were supposed to do.
Okay, so let me take back that word. I'm saying reportedly.
Okay.
Because Obasa was out of the country at that time, that word has been bandied.
Okay.
But the process was clear. Now, I think democracy is a political trinity of the executive, legislature, and the judiciary. Where there are these kind of discordant tunes, the judiciary should step in to explain processes. Of course, Obasa himself, a Speaker of the House, has filed a court injunction against his own house. And that tells you that every fortress has a soft underbelly if you know where to look. So that invincibility of the APC, of the Tinubu dynasty, of his political ingenuity, and all of it are on the fore with cracks. And like Alisa had told us, no DSS operative strolls into a state house of assembly. More so, I dare say, an apex state like Lagos to carry out a militarization of a democratic arena. And he has told us it's hallowed. You don't just go there and carry out a James Bond. They, as far we know, the military is heavily hierarchical. These people are acting on orders issued right somewhere. Alistair has told us, which we all know, either from the National Security, NSC, again, who take orders from the president, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the commander-in-chief of this country. So I think Lagos should put itself in order. If they can take my advice for free, they should recognize that public peace is bigger than any individual interest. Speakers come, speakers go. If this is the fate of Obasa, let it be politically played down, and the party be seen to be maintaining enviable harmony. Because we know at this stage, I would put it out here that I'm not a happy Nigerian. The PDP, after 16 years, were muzzled out by a highly orchestrated APC. I would expect the PDP to be super united, vigilant against the APC. It's opposition that keeps an incumbent party functioning well. The PDP is weakened in cracks due to the Labour Party. Is the incumbent APC going to also be weakened? Is Nigeria going to have three parties, including the ruling one, in cracks? So I would think that the APC should, Obasa is a product of a Lagos system. And is in every political party. There are structures. So people should be able to call persons to order, even if there are crises, there are cracks. It is normal worldwide. In the US, we saw the let me use the word, the wahala that trailed Donald Trump's ascendancy. He traveled through cracks. But his party, the Republican Party, were united. They kept their waters calm. So I would think in a time where President Tinubu is working very hard, you can look at the Naira, look at what the markets are saying, and how people cope with fees to feed, rent, bills. The politicians who are already comfortably paid should help us maintain some form of order, because this is news and it should not filter into the mentality of people in this kind of trying economy. Much as you feed from your tummy, this kind of news is a great disillusionment. So I would think that yes, I loved Obasanjo's style when he succeeded Honorable Ikuforiji, but let's take this as the politics of era. My time comes, my time will end. Even Honorable Miranda, I hope that's her name,
yes, Miranda,
who is sitting now, her time has just come. It will also end. It shouldn't end in fracas or chaos. When it ends, there should be that political machinery that can have smooth, seamless handovers and call people to. They've been great guys in Lagos who, if I want to speak here, we would thought they may have gone further. We didn't throw up any ripples. There were great guys like maybe Senator Tokunbo Afikuyomi, maybe Gani Solomon. There are big people in Lagos. I don't know what the issues with them are, but everything is looking calm. So in Lagos, as it were, a hub of over 20 million people with an economy greater than many nations, let the legislature run the state smoothly and let the DSS speak. Let the air be clear. Propaganda is normal in politics. Whatever they want to do, let there be a communication calming the waters.
Beautiful. Alexa, are you still there with us?
Yes, I'm here. I'm here.
Beautiful. Yes. So my last question to you, just before we let you leave. Nature abhors a vacuum, and no dynasty lasts forever. Tinubu has been in charge of the Lagos state politics for as long as we can remember. Right now, of course, it's becoming very obvious that he is tilting towards the Obasa circle, right, as against the general perception of others. So do we see a clear divide? Do we see smoothing off of the Tinubu's dynasty, even if it might not look like what it is? Do we see a little bit of erosion happening with the dynasty of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu?
Oh, certainly, yes, it will, because like my colleague in the studio said, nature abhors no vacuum, and your time will come, your time will go. No king rules forever. Let's thank God for the life and time of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He's my hero. He's a dogged fighter, somebody that God has so endowed and blessed with wisdom, sagacity, authority, and all whatnot. Against all odds, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu emerged as president of Nigeria. Against all odds, all the odds were against him. The entire gamut of Nigerian witches and wizards, political witches and wizards, both within and without, were all against him. Every iota of, in fact, the man standed no chance in any strands of permutation and combination, because of all the political witches and wizards and the political maneuvering, everything were against him, both religion and everything, to the point that Muslim ticket become an issue, so everything, to the point of losing Lagos in the presidential election. So this is a man that God has so endowed and blessed, and he has run his time, and it's not finished. What I'm saying here is thanking God for his life and his time. He has, not that he has finished, but of course, like we've said, no king rules forever. The young ones are coming in. People have come, people have gone. The young ones are come. A lot of people are coming to the fray. A lot of people are becoming. They are learning from the ropes. They have learned how the structures were being kept. They've learned some of the things. Although yes, you cannot learn everything from your master, but a lot of people have learned a lot of things, and that is even why you see that even when some of those who didn't learn well, talking of Arik Beshola, talking of this man in Ekiti, they didn't learn well, and they decided to jump the gun. You see what their end is becoming. You know, my brother talked about Tokunbo Afikuyomi and other people that were also good guys, but maybe they were Femi Pedro and co. Maybe they were too fast. They didn't learn well. And look at their end. Now, I don't know about how much Obasa has learned or how much support Obasa has within the superstructure. I don't know how much support Obasa's structure has within the superstructure. If that would be able to upset the apple cart of Lagos, that is yet to be seen. But like my own advice, which my brother has given, which I'm also going to give free, is the fact that do not rock the boat. Do not buy the hand that fed you. A lot of members of the legislature today may not have been able to get back their seats if the election was conducted the same day with the presidential election. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If the elections were conducted the same day with the presidential election, and Labour Party were able to field candidates in all of their constituencies, maybe most of them would not have been there.
Very true. So
they are there on providence. We know what happened. We know how tough it was in Lagos. Some of us who campaigned for this government, who picked this government, we know the kind of backlashes what we had. We know that sometimes we cannot even leave our houses. We cannot get our offices because of threat and fear that some of us had to endure. And those who are benefiting from it now are seeing themselves as God or mini gods. Obasa has been there for 10 years and counting. So after 10 years as a speaker, so for goodness sake, what else do you think you want to achieve that you want to rock the boat? After 10 years as a speaker. In fact, the only person that has had this kind of madness is Trump. And maybe he succeeded with it. After 4 years, he was to come back. And he's now unleashing the plans that he had for the world and America. So for Obasa, after 10 years as speaker, first among equals for 10 years, for goodness sake, Chief Obasa, what else do you need that you want to upset the apple cart? The life of this legislation is 2 years, remaining 2 years and about 2 years and about 3 months. The life of this current legislation. So Miranda, a nice lady, I knew him as I've met her on several occasions at the Oniru Palace because that's genius to the Oniru when I visited there. A nice woman. She has just 2 years and 3 months maximum. Because I don't see her returning back. Even she get back a Papa One constituency. I don't see her returning back as speaker. So it's just a short period of time. So Obasa, go back and replan and re-strategize. Maybe you become a senator. Maybe you go to the House of Rep like other people have done. Or maybe you can even be a governor. So, but for you to want to rock the boat, destabilize APC, maybe with some party support from other members of the GSC, who might want to have him. I don't know if the president, where he stands, just like my colleague said, the president should speak up. I don't know where he stands. If he stands that, okay, we need stability in Lagos, what has happened, then he will call to Obasa to order, and of course, they cannot use the DSS to intimidate the current members. But if he's on the other side, and against the majority of the members, I think it is one by one they will beat them to line, and they will not get their ticket back in the next dispensation. So whichever. But the fact remains that the APC family that have enjoyed tranquility and stability, that has made Lagos, of all the southwest states, only Lagos has remained one party since 1999 of all the southwest states. So let that continue, because like I said, if care is not taken, 2027, Lagos might be head, because there are people in Lagos. I mean, the dynamics of the conglomerate of the voters in Lagos is so they can inflict heavy damage on you. Just as they tried to do in the last election. The configuration, if well presented and well oiled by a good candidate, they can inflict heavy damage on you. And sincerely, if APC loses Lagos for any reason, it might be just game over for the next of the democracy we have, because it may not just be a tea party. In fact, it cannot be a tea party. A 3 trillion budget is not what you joke with. Definitely. By anybody that could hold us, that could hold that treasury. You can hold that treasury of Lagos, like my brother said, an economy bigger than that of Ghana, that of many West African countries, that of so many countries, and somebody is able to manage to hold it, brother. Kiss it goodbye. It may not come back. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Lexler Wilcox. You know, there's no gainsaying, ladies and gentlemen, that the reason Lagos still remains the most peaceful state in Nigeria is because of the smooth transition of leadership from 1999 up until today. And for us to continue to have that peace remain, it's very important that we stay true to ourselves, but most importantly, allow peace to reign, and no matter where you belong to. That is the most important thing. Thank you so very much, Lester Wilcox, for being here. We truly do appreciate you once more. Mr. Innocent Adeluba. Awesome. Thank you so very much. All right, the people, that's just about the time we have for today. We'd love to say thank you to you for making this picture complete. Please do well to visit us. You can always find and reach us at enterprisetvnews.com. You may equally like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV 7. I am Henry Igwebike. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow, bright and early. Bye-bye.